Alright, friend, I hope you've got a good cup of tea, because this is gonna be fun. Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be an episode of What World Am I Living In? Something has been occurring on Instagram and TikTok across both platforms that have been absolutely shaking the foundations of the fish keeping world. So we are going to take a break from my normal informational videos to address this topic. Let's just sit back, relax, get you a drink or snack, and let's talk about this. How did I come across this video? I don't even follow this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know who this creator is really. I only really found his social handle by Google searching. So I actually follow a few content creators in the fish keeping space on Instagram. I'm not even on TikTok, but this person on Instagram completely reposted this caption, something like "every fish keeper right now," and it was a shocked emoji. So of course I had to watch it. And then I made a little reaction video to it that I put up last week on my Instagram page, and it did fairly well, got some pretty good traction, people seemed to like it, so I thought, you know what, I really should research this guy. After a little bit more research, I found myself down a research rabbit hole, and I've just decided, you know what, we're gonna break down this issue because this dude's eating pet store fish, and somebody needs to talk about this. So the first video that I saw was this man cooking cardinal tetras. He called them neon tetras. They're not neon tetras. They're actually cardinal tetras. These are a very, very common aquarium fish. Lots of people have them in the tanks. Some people keep them alone in big schools in their tanks. Other people keep them as betta fish tank mates. They're very common. Apparently common enough that they fell on this guy's radar. Now, I feel like probably the core of the issue here with making this content is to get views, attention, interaction. I could be wrong, but it really appears that way, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But I did want to bring that up just to say I'm not going to be mentioning this guy's name, his handle. If you really, really have to go see it, you can find him on Google. You can do a Google search, but I don't recommend it because I really am trying not to give any extra attention that way so that hopefully he will stop and he will not keep doing this. I don't know, some about it just does not sit right with me. But before we get further into it, let's actually go ahead and just view these videos. There are actually two, because as I went onto his page, I discovered that, in his own words, he is dead set on cooking every fish in the world. That's right, every fish. Will he do it? I don't know. But he is well on his way. I think he's done about 55 at this point. So I'm going to roll two of the ones that I have saved. First is the one that caused all this uproar, which is the cardinal tetras. And the next one is goldfish. That's right, goldfish. Let's roll the clips.
Dead serious about cooking every fish in the world. Episode 53, Deviled Eggs.
Neon tetras.
I know, they're eating the pets. Fine question. What makes these fish pets and others food? How cute does an animal have to be for us not to want to eat it?
Shout out to my nephews and nieces in Germany.
Uncle loves you.
Pop in the fridge overnight. Surviving a zombie apocalypse. Pet Shop Edition.
So there are a few things with this video I do want to address. And first is my theory that he's doing this for views. Now, I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. But here is what I looked at, what I saw that made me come to this conclusion. If you look at some of his previous videos, the ones where he's cooking what I call just normal fish, I don't know, fish you would usually find in restaurants, blah, blah, blah. If you look at those videos, we see one where it's European grayling, 400,000 views. That's pretty good, pretty healthy. Next one we have is the meager, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, 230,000 views. Another good one. Next we have something about a masterclass. This one has about 170,000 views. Okay. Now when we click on the Tetra video, now keep in mind this is on TikTok. I didn't actually look at his Instagram account to look at the views on there, so this is on TikTok. When we look at the Tetra video, 4.7 million views. That's quite an increase there. And then when we go to the goldfish one, we have 8.7 million views. That is over triple what he typically gets. Way over. I know he made this commitment to cook every single fish before he cooked these, because obviously he was cooking other fish in his older videos. But this makes me believe that the pet store ones, quite possibly, were just to get a lot of comments, reactions, whether good or bad, that are still going to boost his content. If you haven't heard, a lot of content creators have this thing they call rage bait. And what that is they create some controversial video, maybe one with shock value, one that can even rile people up and make them angry. Because what do a lot of people do when they're mad or upset about something? They leave comments. And even if those comments are nasty and hateful, they leave a lot of them. And what does that do? Instagram and TikTok, any of these social media outlets, they're going to see those comments and that reaction, and they're going to boost the video and show more people. Right now, he has over 200,000 followers on TikTok alone. I, again, didn't check Instagram. I happened to find him on TikTok during my Google search. So my guess is he may be more popular on TikTok right now, but it is reaching both platforms. So I feel like, at least for the goldfish and tetra ones, this got a lot of the comments were not supportive in the least. And actually, I want to show you a few of my favorites because they just made me laugh. Okay, I've got to show you a few of the comments here. So the first one we have, and made me laugh. Man does all his shopping at PetSmart. And then we have, PetSmart hates to see him coming. I can't wait for the great white shark episode. Showing this video to my tetras if they misbehave. Bro walks into PetSmart with a grocery list and apron. Okay, so those are some of my favorite comments that they got. And honestly, if you looked at the comment section, that's mostly what the comments consist of, is a bunch of people protesting and all that. Now, I want you to pay attention to some of the things he says, which I just kind of found interesting. If we really look into the Neon Tetra one, in the end, he says, surviving the apocalypse, pet store edition. That makes me think that he did in fact get these fish from the pet store. Also, I do want to bring attention to the last part of the goldfish video where he ate the goldfish. I'm not saying that he did not chew and swallow every single one of these goldfish, but if you look at the clips, you see him put one in his mouth, bite down a little bit, just enough to where you hear the breading on it crunch, and then it clips very roughly, and he puts another in his mouth, and then it clips, and he's kind of in another position, and then he just puts it in his mouth. We never actually see him chew, and we definitely don't see him swallow these. Now, I'm not hating if he didn't like these and genuinely just spat them into the garbage, because honestly, that's the only thing I can think of that he would do, which almost to me further cements the fact that he was doing this for views and really not to eat or even promote sustainability. I also want to point out something I just found interesting and also a little bit funny. When I was searching him up on Google, I looked up man cooking tetra to see if I could find the video to download to then show you the clip. The first search result pops up this cover of the video and it says deviled eggs. I want you to pay attention to the title now. Deviled eggs with neon tetra recipes for parties. I don't know about you, but never in my entire life have I thought about serving someone a platter of deviled neon cardinal tetra eggs. I have never looked at something like that and thought, you know what would make a good side dish to this party? I think all the meals I plan out are really good, but you know what would make it better? Neon tetras. Where did that come from? He had to have put that in. He had to have typed it in. I just thought that was hilarious. I'm sorry. For parties. Okay, now I do want to go back to my reaction video because I did actually have 3 main comments I wanted to highlight here, which were, number 1, I saw this guy in my feed once. I think I blocked him. If he touches Betta's We Riot, very real possibility, y'all. I may throw up if he cooks a Betta. Ugh, I don't want to think about that. This was shocking. I feel like this was definitely made for shock value, probably rage bait, which he did accomplish that. He got 8.7 million views just on the goldfish video alone, and then he gets, what was it, 3? And then he gets 4.7 million views on the tetra one. All his other ones were in the 100,000s, which are still good, but definitely not in the millions. So how far will he go with this? I don't know. I don't really know. I find it especially interesting because some of the fish, which if he was going to do what he claimed, cook every single fish in the world, some of the fish are actually illegal to catch and eat. You have the puffer fish, which can actually be deadly if you don't cook it right. So that right there is a little bit concerning. And I did actually see a comment under his TikTok video about that. I cannot wait to see the pufferfish episodes. So I don't know. But what makes this fish different from the rest? Just because it's cute? So are all things cute? Are we just not gonna eat them because they're cute? I'll let you fill in the blanks here. I don't think I need to mention this. I don't think I need to go further into this, but that's great. Then, in the goldfish video, he calls you racist if you don't eat goldfish, which it just seems silly to me. I don't know. I imagine he was trying to crack some jokes, maybe make the fact that he was frying up goldfish a little bit more lighthearted. I don't really know, but I don't know. It just feels weird. I felt like it was really hammered. That point was really hammered in the goldfish one. Like, if you don't eat goldfish, you're racist, because like the difference between the goldfish and another fish that is actually widely eaten is this chromosome or gene. He said something about that changes their color. So if you don't eat a goldfish, you're discriminating against its color, which is technically racist.
Not eating goldfish is racist.
I don't know. I mean, it might be fishist. Maybe. I wouldn't consider myself racist if I, ate one fish and not the other. So there's that. I feel like that was kind of weird. Maybe it was supposed to be a lighthearted joke, but I don't know. It just didn't sit quite right with me. This brings us to the last section, which is where I wanted to address, because I saw a lot of people comment under the video and even under my reaction video where some people were saying, oh, this isn't a problem. A fish is a fish. It's fine. Like, what's the difference between something like pompano, which is a restaurant grade fish, and a little neon cardinal tetra? What's the difference? I want you to use your eyes for a second. We can tell the most obvious difference right there. But let's get into this a little bit more logically for those of you who actually want to know the facts behind why I just don't think this is okay. It just doesn't seem okay. This is my problem with the man eating it. First off, let's be honest, it's just kind of wasteful. I mean, I know he made, in the Tetra one, he made food other than the Tetra. The Tetra was actually just kind of the garnish. He made this full deviled egg with a quail egg, but it just seems straight up wasteful to me. I truthfully do not believe that he ate it. If he ate it, I hope he's okay and he did not get sick after that. But it just seems wasteful because honestly, if he's not eating it, I'm pretty sure his family would not eat that. I know I would puke. Next, we have this whole health risk. Now, I've actually pulled up an entire article that I found on this just to show you that I'm not making this up. I'm gonna pull it up right here. It is under fishkeeping.co.uk. Would you eat your own fish? Let's take a minute to dive into this real quick. Have you ever stopped to consider how delicious some of your aquarium inhabitants look? No, not really. But what a great way to open an article, right? So if we scroll down here, we find this section, which I want to highlight. Eating our own fish even carries risks. Many risks, in fact. Chief amongst them is the danger of zoonotic transmission. Aquarium fish carry many illnesses, an awful lot of which we don't want. Wild South American species can be vectors for the worst kinds of invasive worms, protozoans, bacteria, and fungi, the likes of which will make you squirm like an ant under a magnifying glass. Again, great writing. I don't think an ant would squirm. I think it would just incinerate. But besides the fact, there is this whole issue with if he is in fact getting it from a pet store, if he's eating it, which surely he knows this. I mean, surely he looked this up. So that's another reason why I don't think he ate them. I mean, we all know what fish at pet stores are swimming in. They're swimming in like this sickness soup. I mean, seriously, how many times have you brought a fish home and it just dies immediately because it was already carrying illness and disease just from the water alone that it's probably been sitting in for months, sometimes weeks, depends on the pet store. I don't want to eat that. And that brings me to two of the comments that I came across which further cemented this fact. There's a difference between eating animals for sustenance and eating them for views. Also, like one person commented, zoonotic disease and medicines like methylene blue are a thing. Typically fish are pets because they don't yield a lot of meat or they are dirty and don't taste good. This kind of ties in the two facts we already went through. It's kind of wasteful because it's extremely small. There's no meat on that fish. And also, they're kind of dirty fish. There's that whole aspect which I just really don't feel like eating aquarium fish is healthy, especially because of where they came from, likely the pet store. Because last I looked, there was not an online provider that just sells tetras in bulk for restaurants. I don't think that exists. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that exists. I even did a Google search before this video and I did not find a single provider of high quality neon tetras for restaurant use. So pretty sure these came from a pet store. The next point I briefly just mentioned is the fact that there's no meat on these fish. Even the goldfish in the video, you see him kind of gutting it, but there's no meat on a goldfish. Maybe just a very, very little bit. But he didn't even fillet them. I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, the image. Can you imagine him filleting a cardinal tetra? I can't. So again, it seems very wasteful. There's no meat on them. I mean, why are you even cooking them at this point? Why? I mean, the last time I checked, you cook things so that you could eat them. Satisfy yourself, fill your stomach. I don't think a neon tetra is gonna do that. There's no meat on it. There's no way you're cooking this to feed or satisfy yourself or even feed your family because there's nothing on it. With the last reason I have a problem with it, I did state a little bit earlier, I feel like this was rage bait. I feel like he was kind of fishing, pun not intended, fishing for views. And there's nothing wrong. There really genuinely is nothing wrong with being a content creator. I'm a content creator myself. I'm really not hating on this man. I understand creating good content is hard just to make it look good, to make sure everything's working, the lighting, the sound, all of it really is an art and it takes a lot of practice. So I'm not hating on that. It's just the fact that I feel cooking some of these fish, I get the idea of cooking every fish. It draws people in, it keeps people watching because they wonder, oh, which fish are you going to cook next? But I feel like at some point there is a line that really shouldn't be crossed for the sake of health, which is very important, sustainability, other people's sanity. I mean, seriously. Some people will take up the argument, oh, if fish is a fish. But we've already gone through all the reasons why he really should not be cooking these aquarium fish. They're aquarium fish, they're pets. And I understand they're fish. They can be cooked just like other fish, but it's not the same. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you would like me to create more videos like this where I address issues, where I address certain videos in the fish keeping community, or certain topics that are debatable, let me know. You can even tag me because I really would love to address some of the stuff that people are doing within the fish keeping community and apparently now the food industry. So interesting, a very interesting crossover. If you have any feedback or thoughts, stick them in the comments. I love to hear from you. If this is your first time and you liked what you saw, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, stick around, and let me know if you're a new subscriber. I would love to welcome you to the family. If you are a betta keeper like myself and you love your finned friend and you really would love to get into a community of supportive betta fish keepers just like yourself in all walks of life, go ahead and head to the description. I have a link to my free Facebook group, the Betta Fish Forum. It is a wonderful and supportive place that you are going to love if you are not a part of it yet. That's all I have to say on this topic. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. God bless, and I will see you next time.